I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Hi. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. We made it to Monday. Maka's had a hell of a, you guys. She's like, just prayers for Mak. I don't know if she's going to make it. She is having some stress right now. So just everybody prayers up for her.
Real estate transactions are very stressful.
Very, very stressful. All right. Coming up on today's show, the Trump Madison Square Garden rally was completely lit, as the kids would say. Kamala hangs out with more celebrities because this is what Democrats do, right? Vance goes on a legacy media destruction rampage, and I am here for it, you guys. Oh my God, it was so great. And the WAPO doesn't make an endorsement. Everybody's freaking out about it.
They are
freaking. They are freaking out. All that and so much more. You can check us out on all of our socials, and please click subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done that. I don't know what you're doing with your life. You just have to click the subscribe button and then check us out in all the places, chicksontheright.com/links. Do it.
Please do it.
Do it.
Let's thank some folks right out of the gate. Oh, Suki, very, very wordy this morning.
Oh my goodness. Like okay.
A giant paragraph. It says, I met a man from Yemen. We started talking about guns. He said he likes the UK better than his home country because very few people own guns here. He believes no one should have them. I was civil, but stood my ground. I told him I believe every good, decent, law-abiding citizen should be able to have one if they choose. I added I'd have no problem shooting someone if I felt my life was in danger. He said, in Yemen, every household has 4 or 5 guns and no one will break into your house because they know they'll be shot. Yes, that's the point. I countered every one of his arguments against gun ownership. I will never agree to a ban. I was watching his facial expressions and got the feeling he's not used to a woman standing up for herself against a man. He asked, between America and the UK, which is better? I smiled and said, America is the best country in the world. I know you said not to tip before 8, but I'm on a trip to Cambridge Cemetery to see the graves of the Americans, and I'll miss the live. Everyone have a wonderful, blessed day. Wow, that was a mouthful. Thank you.
That was a mouthful.
My goodness.
You.
And then I'm a little bit mad at you, Robin Zecca, because Robin sent a super sticker saying, my daughter texted me, guess who we're having drinks with? The executive producer of Chicks on the Right. Valen? Yes. How did you know? Big fan here. We were going to say shout out to Robin before you sent that super sticker because we got the text from Valen saying that she had met your daughter. And so we were very, very excited to be like, hi, Robin.
I know. Hello, Robin. Yeah, we did. We heard all about it. That's so cool. Isn't Valen the greatest? Valen is the greatest.
Oh my gosh. And just such a small world, right? Like it's just the smallest of worlds. It's absolutely crazy. We do have another thank you to get to, but I also want to make sure to remind everybody about ReadyWise, because if you are not prepping, especially in advance of this election, because man, it is going to be cray. It's way too close for comfort, which means that the world is going to explode. No matter who is ultimately decided the winner and when. Count on mayhem. Okay. Like if you can count on anything, it's absolute chaos and mayhem. You want to be prepared for any possible situation. And part of being prepared includes being prepared with emergency meals. And that is what ReadyWise is the expert at. They have all kinds of different lengths of emergency food kits that will keep you for 72 hours, for 30 days, for 3 months, or even more. And they have not just like bundles of actual food that includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners, but they also have like the 120 serving freeze-dried fruit or vegetable buckets. They have these ReadyWise instant meals that don't even require heat. They just require water. So much good stuff. And it's delicious. Like I've already busted into our kit and like, it is so good. I think I'm going to have more soup for dinner.
Really? Is that good?
It is so good.
You need to invite the neighbors over this time.
I need to invite like all the neighbors because it feeds a ton of people. So check it out. Visit ReadyWise.com. Use promo code CHICKS20. That's CHICKS20 at checkout, and you will get 20% off your entire order at ReadyWise.com. Come.
I have a point of personal privilege, if I may,
Please.
just really quick. See that box right here?
I do see
that.
it.
That's a new tree. It's going to be up by Friday, you guys. All right. You have no idea how hard it is for me. I'm biting my lip. I'm holding it. I'm like, hold with the Christmas decorating. I almost did it this weekend, but my family was like, Daisy, simmer.
You're out of control.
So I am out of control. I'm completely crazy, but it's right there. You guys see it? It's right there. So by this time next week, that baby's going to be up. We're going to see it. And we're going to have Christmas spirit all up in here. All right? It's happening.
Oh my gosh. All right. One more. The photo in the story says, "Good morning, ladies. On this feast of St. Jude, this Gen Xer is 1 year older. Prayers for my trip down to NYC with my son to his growth specialist." Well, happy birthday.
Prayers. Yeah.
And then from this weekend, Rose Hodges said, "Hi, jerks." My father-in-law announced at dinner today that he voted for Trump. He is a TDS person, but he could not vote for the moronic Democrat candidate because he knows that voting for Kamala will lead to the destruction of our country. Have a great day, ladies.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Rose. We'll get to more thank yous mid-show, but there's also some news, and I think everybody will think that this is good news, and that is that Speaker McConnell, or not Speaker McConnell, Mitch McConnell. Why did I say that? Senate Minority Leader McConnell,
yes,
is planning on stepping down from leadership in November, which is good because if the Republicans take the Senate, right, if Republicans win back the Senate, it will not be him, and I think that is a good thing for the world.
Yeah, it's a really, really good thing. Bye, Turtle Man. Bye.
I mean, he's not leaving; he's just leaving leadership.
Yeah, which is okay. Just get out of the spotlight. Stop it. Go away. He should just be leaving in general, but he won't.
I know.
Because you guys saw his health problems over the past year. We've seen the glitches,
the freezing.
Yeah.
It's been bad.
It's nice that he's stepping down from leadership. Yeah.
There was also some big hullabaloo over the weekend with WAPO. And we talked last week about the fact that the LA Times decided they opted not to endorse anyone, specifically Kamala, because they normally endorse Democrats, but they opted to just not endorse anyone in this presidential election. And people freaked out. And like some editors from the LA Times quit. And Jen Rubin from WAPO was like, that's exactly what they should have done because this is BS. And then the same exact thing happened at WAPO. Oh, wait. Before we even get to that, let me just show you this picture because this was also going around.
It was.
You guys, the Democrats tried to say, look, here's proof that Kamala worked at McDonald's, and they photoshopped her face onto a woman who died of cancer from Canada or something.
And not only that, but a white woman.
Oh my God.
It's a white woman. I mean, do I have to point that? I'm just going to say that out loud. Isn't that weird?
Oh my God.
I mean, how phony can you get?
This is so bad.
It's so bad. So she plagiarizes everything. She can't speak without a script. She's being photoshopped onto some deceased white lady's picture. Like, what are they doing?
That's serious desperation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Serious desperation. Okay. I'm sorry that I forgot about that, but back to the WAPO. So this happened over the weekend where there was an announcement that the Washington Post said that they will not be making an endorsement of a presidential candidate in this election, nor in any future presidential election. We are returning to our roots of not endorsing presidential candidates.
Oh, that's convenient. They chose this one to not endorse. How's Jennifer Rubin feel about that?
That's the thing. This is, I don't even understand why anyone cares about this. First of all, like if you are a person who is waiting for the WAPO to tell you who to vote for,
right,
you have problems.
Well, if you're a person who's waiting for anybody to tell you how to vote,
right,
then you have problems. I mean, nobody's going to tell me how to vote. Not even my husband. I mean, we pretty much vote the same, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I just nobody should tell you how to vote. And so endorsements mean jack squat.
Nothing
to me.
And they shouldn't endorse it. They're supposed to be a newspaper.
Right.
We don't need your editorial board to tell us what they think about the election. Shut up. So I thought this was actually welcome news, but man, the freak out was humongous. Look at all of these people. George Conway, Ted Lieu. They're all like, democracy dies in cowardice. It dies in sunlight. I canceled my subscription. They were losing their minds.
Oh my God, that Ted Lieu's is the most hysterical. The first step towards fascism is when the free press cowers in fear. Hello, project much?
I mean, it's just
good Lord.
And even Susan Rice was like, as a DC native and lifelong subscriber to the Post, I am disgusted. You have lost us.
Okay, so they have to toe the line. They're saying that the press has to toe the line to the Democrat side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. How is that democracy? How?
And how is that the job of the press?
Right.
That's not what they're for. So again, Jennifer Rubin was like all applauding the LA Times editor who resigned. And she was like, where are the rest of them? Expecting everybody to resign. And now that WAPO's not endorsing, she's staying put.
Seems like the honorable thing for her to do. Exactly. What is she saying? She's just, she's like, oh, I didn't say that. Never mind. Right.
I mean, she just is such a freaking hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Susan Rice, again, what are they going to do about it? The whole Post editorial department should walk out. I mean, these people are out of their minds.
Yeah, they can't.
Morgan.
It's like they can't see it. They cannot. They have no self-awareness whatsoever. Zero.
Yep. Pierce said journalists enraged because their newspaper wishes to remain impartial are revealing their true colors and confirming the shockingly partisan liberal bias in U.S. mainstream media. Which is, of course, what they're doing.
God,
it's
how
incredible.
can they not see that?
I know. It's amazing. I think then there's Kara Swisher, who was on CNN talking to Chris Wallace about this. And again, she's acting like this is just an absolute travesty.
There could be a lot of debate on whether you should have a presidential endorsement or not. And a lot of newspapers are reconsidering it, and that's a fine thing. But the Washington Post and Los Angeles Times this week really had a major fail by quashing endorsements of Kamala Harris because their billionaire owners changed their mind at the last moment and pulled it on what are supposed to be independent boards, editorial boards, and especially Jeff Bezos, who I think is frightened of Donald Trump, and pulled a Kamala Harris endorsement that was already written.
About
the Washington Post. I started my my career in the mailroom of the Washington Post. It's an enormous embarrassment, and the fine people of the Washington Post are furious, and it's a real black eye for Jeff Bezos.
And we should point out that there have been top staffers at both papers that have resigned in protest over this.
And they should.
What the hell? And isn't fine people at the Washington Post an oxymoron? I feel like it is. It's completely out of control. And listen, maybe, just maybe, hear me out. Maybe they're not endorsing because Kamala sucks. And they're too big of wusses to endorse Donald Trump. That's really what I think is going on here. Because they're like, listen, she's a complete nightmare. We don't want to say that out loud because we're still Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, that's who the press is. But we're too big of like babies to actually say who we really want to be president. I think we all know who that is.
It's just, I can't believe this is as big of a story as it is.
It's so stupid.
Wow. Going back to the McDonald's thing for just a second. Somebody made this meme of Pelosi with her eyebrows looking just like the McDonald's arches with the headline, Pelosi to sue McDonald's for trademark infringement.
Oh my God, look at her eyebrows. It's so accurate. She's got to handle that.
I love that so much. And then you guys remember during the Olympics when there was that one particular pole vaulter who got a little hung up on the pole with his
junk. With his junk, you guys. He had the gigantic junk. How nobody forgot about that? Everybody's still thinking about it. Everybody.
This could be the greatest Halloween costume of all time.
Oh my gosh, that is
Isn't that perfect?
Yes.
Love it so much.
Oh my God.
And also, speaking of things I love, dogs.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I love them so much.
They're so fuzzy.
And it's why my love for dogs and Daisy's love for dogs is why we are so committed to making sure that our dogs every single day get their premium nutritional supplement courtesy of naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who is the creator of Ruff Greens. And that is the green health powder for dogs and now for kitty cats as well. So they have Ruff Greens for dogs and Meow Greens for kitty cats. And you just sprinkle it on their kibble and they devour it, and it gives them the multivitamin that they need, just like you need a multivitamin. Your pets do too. And so why would you not want them to have the healthiest possible life they can? This has all the good stuff: vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and it gives that dry brown kibble, it just gives it life. You know what I mean? It makes it taste delicious. They love it. They beg for it. And they look at you funny if you don't remember to do it.
It's true. That is true. Mm-hmm.
And what's great too is that they offer this this Jumpstart trial bag for absolutely free when you go to ruffchicks.com. You can either choose Ruff Greens for dogs, or you can choose the Meow Greens for cats. And the Meow Greens is cool because it comes in these little individual serving size packets, so you know exactly how much to give them, because cats are all kind of just cat sized and they're not very sizes like dogs are. So the instructions on the back for how much to give your dog depending on your dog's weight. So it's all very handy. And again, you can try it for free just by going to ruffchicks.com. That's RUFF chicks.com. Do it today. All right. We have to talk about the Joe Rogan interview with Trump. So hopefully most folks here have had a chance to listen to it. If not, just going to give you a few highlights. But it was interesting because before I even had a chance to watch it, and I've only seen the first hour and a half, hour 45 so far. I haven't had time to watch the whole thing. But before I watched any of it, we got this email from one of our audience members, Greg, who said, watched the Rogan Trump podcast. What a wasted opportunity for Trump. Was he tired? I mean, fighting off the flu tired? All he had to do was go on Rogan's podcast and be interesting, but no, he had to go there and come across as a low energy narcissist. And it was the wrong time to push the weave way of answering a question. Rogan would have taken Trump anywhere he needed to go. Trump didn't have to monopolize the conversation with self-glorifying platitudes that endlessly droned on and on. I don't think the podcast moved the needle, but that's what was a waste. And so I was like, oh, crap.
I disagree with that. I think
I totally disagree with it. I thought it was great.
I think it absolutely moved the needle. Yeah. Especially considering he's willing to sit down for that long period of time and do that long form of an interview, whereas she's not.
Well, we don't know. And we have news about that because she might. But the thing is that it was exactly the kind of interview Rogan does with everybody. You're expecting the guests to talk a lot. I mean, that's what happens during a 3-hour long form interview. And last night they were already up to 30 million views. It's probably even more at this point. And you cannot underestimate the audience that Joe Rogan has, especially men. You know what I mean? Young men who listen to him. So
yeah. And if you compare those numbers to Kamala and Bey,
right? Oh my God,
and Beyonce, there's just no comparison, you guys. None at all. She had to use a pop star, well, whatever you want to call Beyonce. I don't know. I don't listen to her like crap music, but she had to use Beyonce to get people to come to see her. Trump doesn't have to do that.
No, he does not. And of course, we're going to get to the whole Madison Square Garden thing too. But there was a rumor floating around that Kamala was in negotiations with Joe Rogan, in advanced talks even, and that they were supposed to tape and they had all these plans. But Trump had agreed to absolutely no limits on Rogan's podcast, and Harris apparently would not agree to the same. So then her nerdy little creepy spokesperson guy went on a TV show and was asked, is this going to happen? And here is what nerdy little Ian Sams said.
Can I ask you about Rogan? Was there a Rogan invite to the vice president that was turned down? Is it something you would consider doing, given the size of that audience, and given that a lot of the folks that Trump seems to be targeting might be listening to that?
Well, yeah, I think that the vice president's happy to go anywhere and any place to talk to a broad segment of the country. We talked with Rogan and his team about the podcast. Unfortunately, it isn't going to work out right now because of the scheduling of this period of the campaign.
Okay. They're full of shit. She doesn't want to do it. Come
Scheduling,
on.
you don't not schedule with an audience of potentially millions and millions of people. That you work that out. You know what I mean?
Of course you do. She's just, you guys, it's a lie. Everybody knows it. She's afraid.
I don't know though, because Joe is saying it still might happen. So
I don't think
hang on, because there's still news about it.
I don't think it's going to happen. And if she has that many conditions on it, you know that's going to piss him off.
Oh yeah, he won't tolerate it. But he was defensive on her behalf in parts of the Trump interview, which you'll hear in just a second. But just right out of the gate, early on, there was this moment where Trump was like, yeah, I just got a lot of publicity early on. Maybe you can help me understand why.
I always got more publicity than other people. And it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me why.
Oh, I could definitely tell you. You said a lot of wild shit.
Maybe.
You said a lot of wild shit, and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild shit, made you much more popular.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you?
I mean, he's not wrong.
I loved this conversation because it was just that. It was not an interview. It was just a long chitty chat. They talked about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. But he could handle it I think that's the point. Whereas I know that Greg guy was saying that he came across as a narcissist. I just don't see it like that.
I didn't see it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I did not see that at all. And so I was reading that email before watching it, I was like, oh, because I'm always a critic of Trump when I feel like he rambles and doesn't do well.
Totally. Right.
And so I was all prepared to just think it was awful. And I didn't think that at all. At all.
And the low energy thing, I think when you're in a position where you're interviewing in that intimate of a setting, you tend to kind of you get into this mode where you're calm.
Right.
We kind of did that with Glenn Beck. It was very dark in there. It was like, you know what I mean? Like the whole vibe was totally different. Everything was just chill. And he probably felt the same way. So if he came across as tired, I didn't see that.
You know what, there might be, I bet it's different to listen to it than it is to see it, because maybe listening to it, he did sound tired, but when you see him, he's clearly not. Like, he's
a great point.
Totally fine. So I would absolutely recommend, if you haven't listened or watched, definitely watch it, because you can get so much out of body language and just the eye contact and all that stuff. Joe wanted to know about getting his ear shot and like whether there was a scar. So there was also this cute moment.
You didn't have a scar on your ear? You got anything on there?
I do.
Let me see. What you got
there?
Let me see.
Here.
Oh, it's a tiny little mark.
It zicked right there.
Yeah. It healed up pretty fucking good.
Well, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's little. It's not like some of the wrestlers, some of the UFC fighters.
No, you didn't get cauliflower.
No. It was sort of like a top shot. The point of the bullet was a little of the ass, but you see the thing's taken off a little bit, but it makes me a tougher guy.
It makes him a tougher guy.
It does. #zicked.
I know. I love that word.
Zicked.
It's zicked him. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I plan to get shot.
No. Just zicked his ear.
I will be using Zick.
Right.
Also talked about RFK and whether it's, whether Trump is set on having RFK as a part of the administration. And he says that there's one caveat.
RFK is going to be very, I think he's a great guy.
I love the fact that you guys teamed up.
Yeah.
And are you completely committed to have him a part of your administration?
Oh, I am. But the only thing I want to be a little careful about with him is the environmental. Because, he doesn't like oil. I love oil and gas. I think
just keep him out of that.
To fire. So I'm going to sort of keep him out of a little.
Right.
I said, focus on health. Focus. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. But I got to be a little bit careful with the liquid gold,
I understand.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Just stay in your lane, Bobby. Just stay in the health lane.
Stay in the health lane. And he will do great in the health lane. But just don't talk to me about the environmental crap, because we don't need to hear it from you. Right.
Yep. They also talked about this incessant investigations that are constantly swirling around Donald Trump and the weaponization of the DOJ.
Rebels are Republicans now. They're like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to like buck the system. You're a conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking about regulating free speech and that regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent.
Well, they
I
do.
got more guys. I always say, I kid, but I'm not kidding. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the meanest of them all. He'd kill you in 2 seconds if he didn't like you, right? I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone, only because it's political opponent stuff. And I've won. I won the big case in Florida. I'm winning the other stuff. You win, but you know what they did? They did something that's only done in third world countries. They came after their political opponent.
Yes.
I could have put crooked Hillary in jail.
Well, not only that, but they're weaponizing it by saying that that's what you're going to do once you get in office.
Isn't it great?
By ignoring what they're doing right now. It's crazy.
I heard it. Somebody was defending me today. They said, no, they say, that's what you're doing to him. They're going, he's going to put us in jail. He's going to invest.
That's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, will you do that? Will you do that to him, to them, if you win? The presidency has tremendous power. I could have put crooked Hillary
I
in
respected
jail.
that you didn't because what you said was it would be bad for the country.
The biggest.
Yeah. And he even, I think last week, I don't know if we had a clip or whatever. I don't think we ever got to playing it, but he was asked about pardoning Hunter Biden. Do you remember? Like I don't know if we ever talked about it, but he was asked about that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." I mean,
he was open.
The fact that he will think about that, first of all, I think that would be a huge mistake because he's a criminal and he needs to like be behind bars. But I mean, some of the stuff he's done is like really awful. But the fact that he'd think about it shows you that he is a completely different caliber of person than these asshats on the left.
Yep.
And that should show you, that should tell you everything right there.
Yeah, for real. They also talked about the biggest mistake that Trump made while he was in office. And then this is where it gets a little interesting. Trump tries to dig at Kamala not being able to get through a Joe Rogan interview, and Joe defends her, which was just interesting. You'll hear that in this clip.
The mistake I made was I picked some people. I picked some great people, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked. And
neocons?
Yeah, neocons, or bad people, or disloyal people, or
people that were just
people
bad.
That were into the
people
got
bad advice.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're reading about them a little bit today. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully, but a weak person. You know more about bullies than anybody probably around because you deal in a certain sport where the bullies are exposed very quickly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Kamala doing this show?
I could imagine her doing this show.
She'd be laying on the floor.
She was supposed to do it, and she might still do it, and I hope she does.
She's not going to do it.
I will talk to her like a human being. I will
if
try
she
to have
did
a
this
conversation
kind of an
with her.
interview with you, I hope she does because it would be a mess. She'd be laying on the floor comatose. You'd be saying, call in the medics.
I think we'd have a fine conversation. I think I'd be able to talk to her. I wouldn't try to interview her. I'd just try to have a conversation with her and hopefully get to know her as a human being. That was my goal, having her on.
How long have we?
Yeah, well, that would be interesting, but I don't think she's coming, Joe.
I don't know. He does mention it again, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, at the end of their 3-hour marathon interview, they were wrapping things up, and Trump wanted to know, how long have we been talking?
We've been talking.
A long time.
Let's go.
Probably like 3 hours.
I got to make a speech.
Right.
But we'll do it again. I want to do it again with you.
Okay.
You are something.
Thank you very much.
I said, how long will this last? Anywhere from an hour to 3 or 4 hours.
How long we do, Jamie? 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Well, we'll do it again. I thought it was great. I think it was
great. It was a lot of fun.
You are a fascinating guy, and you've done a great job.
Thank you
very
much.
I'm a big fan, and thank you very much. It's been an honor. And
it's been an honor to
I'm
have you on as well.
I'm going to make a great speech, and I'm going to say, and if I'm a little off tonight, I'm going to blame you. I'm going to say I spoke to this guy for 3 hours. Anyway, it's a great honor to be.
Thank you, sir.
With you. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
All right.
it.
Bye, everybody.
So then there was the after show where Joe and his team kind of
chit chat.
they chit chat. And this is where the whole Kamala thing got brought up again. So I don't know where this stands. Here's what they said.
That kind of thing.
But after 3 hours, did you have a different impression of him or no?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a businessman. Bottom line, he likes making deals. That's what it is. Like, that's his whole thing. And he's got this ability to just keep going. This is what's crazy. Like, the podcast is 3 hours long. The guy didn't pee before the podcast. He didn't pee after the podcast.
Maybe he had
just
a little
left.
catheter.
Maybe
and he drinks more Diet Cokes than me.
But he didn't drink anything during the podcast.
Gangster.
He just sat here and we talked, and they were freaking out there because he was 2 hours late for something he was doing in Michigan. He didn't give a fuck. He's like, I know this is going to be bigger than that. Let's just keep going. We did 3 hours. Okay. But at the end of it, he's, I don't know him other than the 3 hours that I talked to him when he was trying to be at his best.
And
right?
Kamala Harris has not said yes yet.
She hasn't said no either. People keep saying she said no. I said
smart.
I would have a conversation with her like a human being. That's all I want to do. That's literally all I want to do.
But that's trouble.
I want to know
her.
what is it like to be. I don't even give a fuck about all the stuff she's talked about policies and all these different things. We know her positions. Yeah. Like, who are you?
Do we know our positions? Because they've been all over
Yeah,
the place.
I feel like he probably right, exactly. that was a little sketch right there. Yeah, I do think that just hearing about the whole, his team, Trump's team is trying, like, listen, you're late, blah blah. Trump doesn't have handlers. Kamala has handlers, and that also
they're watching for her. Oh
right.
my God.
And that also speaks volumes as to who he is and what he can do as a leader. People aren't manipulating him and telling him what to do, where to go. I mean, obviously you have a schedule. I get it. Like, people in that position have a schedule, but he is just not one to be like, he doesn't have people telling him what to do.
Yeah. He tells them what he's going to do.
Exactly.
And we have lots and lots of Kamala to get to as well. In addition to the whole Madison Square Garden. I said Market Square Arena like I'm in Indianapolis or something. The whole Madison Square Garden thing. We have tons of stuff to share about that too. But we also want to remind people that if you are feeling overwhelmed by your taxes, maybe you owe back taxes, maybe you haven't filed in a couple of years and you know that you're in trouble, or maybe you just haven't been able to pay what you owe and you're struggling with a payment plan and you don't know what your options are, there is help for you. You can get a complimentary consultation with our friends at TaxNetwork USA. They have all the experts on hand that can deal with whatever your tax issue is, whether you just haven't filed, whether you owe $1,000 or $100,000 and everything in between. They can help you get sorted out with the IRS so that you're not in any kind of trouble. You can get that free consultation with TaxNetwork USA at tnusa.com/chicks, or you can just call them at 1-800-958-1000. That's 800-958-1000. Or just schedule at tnusa.com/chicks. All right, Kamala. Oh my God. So she and her entire team and the entire mainstream media is very, very busy right now accusing Trump of being Hitler, of being a Nazi, of being a fascist, all the things. Meanwhile, she decides to wear the brownest of brown suits, like for one of her interview days. And I was like, what kind of message are you sending here? So first she talked to, what's her name? Norah O'Donnell. And again, she continues to press on this Project 2025 thing, even though Norah O'Donnell pushes back and she gets testy.
And when you argue that Donald Trump, if elected, would put forward a national abortion ban.
Just read Project 2025.
The former president said that's not true. He would veto.
He says everything. Come on, are we really taking his word for it?
Yeah.
He said that women should be punished. He has been all over the place on this. But I'm too busy watching what he's doing to see what he has said.
You know that Donald Trump has disavowed Project 2025. He says that is not his campaign plan.
As you know, I am a former prosecutor. His DNA is all over it.
Oh my God. That was the dumbest comment ever. Seriously, lady? God, I
mean,
swear.
she's just out of control on this issue. She was on the tarmac talking to reporters and saying that doctors and like patients and just people are in fear for their lives because of all these Trump abortion bans. Check this out.
Yeah, well, like I said, even last night, and I've been meeting with healthcare providers for the last 2 years since the Dobbs decision came down. They are a combination of doing their work in fear of being jailed. We are seeing that, for example, medical students are now more reluctant than ever to go into reproductive health care fields for fear that they could be criminalized.
They're scared, man. They are so scared. Wow. This is just, it reeks of desperation. All of this. And all the stuff that we saw this weekend from that camp, just they're scared. They really are. Cause they're like, because they thought, Obama and friends thought we just put her in there. Everybody's stupid enough. They're going to fall for it. They've fallen for it in the past, right? There are so many more awake people now looking at government, looking at media. It's like we have lived through some shit, y'all, over the past 8 years. We all have collectively. Even the liberals have. But they're still sheep, you know what I mean? And a lot of us we're just like, we are not buying what you're selling. And they are freaking out about it. You can tell they're freaking.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I don't remember which rally of hers. I think this was the Texas one, where she decided to have a whole bunch of like OBGYN reproductive health doctors come up on stage with her to like really drive home the point.
Yeah.
Whatever. There was a medical emergency while all the doctors were on the stage. Watch how many of them as doctors rush to assist whatever this medical emergency is. This is amazing.
Nationwide.
Oh my God.
I think someone needs some medical assistance over here.
You're my doctor.
All of you are doctors.
There's
all of you.
One person goes to help.
You got to be kidding me with this.
Can you even?
And they're like, good job. They're like, good job helping that person. We're going to stand up here and not do anything. Because, we're just in the business of killing babies. We don't help people. What do you think? We help people?
Maybe they're not doctors and they're just all up there in their white coat costumes because they don't actually know how to treat people. I could not believe what I was seeing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What's the Hippocratic Oath? What is that? I don't know. What?
There's one doctor from Indiana who wanted to speak out and push back against all of the lies that Kamala continues to tell about Trump and his abortion bans.
I just watched Vice President Harris's comments in Atlanta, Georgia about the tragic deaths of Amber Thurman and Candy Miller, 2 Georgia women who died after taking abortion drugs. I agree with the Vice President that their deaths were 100% preventable. However, their deaths were not the fault of Georgia's abortion law. No pro-life law in the country prevents OBGYNs like me from intervening when a woman is facing a potentially life-threatening complication of her pregnancy. They do not have to be knocking on death's door before we can intervene. In fact, I can speak from experience as I practice in Indiana, which has a very similar law. Madam Vice President, stop lying to my patients. Your lies are harming women and they're harming physicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
So glad for her to say it.
Yeah, it's nice. We need more of them. We need more of those doctors to get some balls and come out and say that kind of stuff because she is lying. And now it's like, this is the tactic. It's all, he's a Nazi. He's trying to kill you. It's all fear mongering. And boy, they've really lowered the temperature, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Really low.
Oh my gosh. And then what people just are not remembering as we head down, we're 8 days away from the official election day. People seem to forget in the midst of all of this hullabaloo about hating and Nazis and fascism and all this stuff, that Kamala is an empty suit, that she actually has no idea what she's doing. And it's evident anytime she's asked a serious policy question, like she was on the tarmac about Iran and Israel.
What is the administration hearing from Arab allies about the Israeli strikes? And can you say whether the strikes made it less likely that Iran will be able to attack Israel again in the future?
What I can say is that it is a consensus among leaders in the region, and certainly it is the strong perspective of the United States that there must be de-escalation and not an escalation. of activities in that region.
Ma'am, now to expand on that, what is your message to Iran specifically as they consider a potential retaliation?
Listen, I feel very strongly, we as the United States feel very strongly that Iran must stop what it is doing in terms of the threat that it presents to the region.
Oh my God.
And we will always defend Israel against any attacks by Iran in that way.
Okay, they got to stop, you guys.
She says things in a way, she tries to use 15 words to say one word.
Mm-hmm.
And that she's like, that makes me sound smart. No, it doesn't actually. A lot of us understand exactly what you're doing and it's not working. You're not smart. Go plagiarize another book, lady.
Exactly.
Good Lord.
She's also starting to have to deal with almost the constant presence of protesters now. And here is what happened in Michigan.
We are fighting for America's future. And we understand the opportunity we have before us to turn the page on the fear.
What am I going to do? I can't. Oh, no. I'm speaking. Yeah. What are you going to do, Kamala? You all right? You going to go cry? Seriously, you going to go cry? What are you going to do when a world leader, another world leader, like a Putin or a Xi, like when they're menacing and mean to you, what are you going to do? You going to cower in fear? You going to be like, I'm speaking. Honestly, she can't do this, you guys. She cannot.
No. And then the script with the whole never again will Trump stand behind the presidential seal of the United States of America. It's gotten so tired and so ridiculous. And we showed like a montage of it last week where she's, it's the same hand gestures. It's the same cadence. It's all the same. She's still doing it. So like 3 times in the last weekend, here they are all together.
Never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again.
Oh my
Should
gosh.
never again have the privilege of standing behind the seal of the President of the United States.
Never again.
Never again. Never again.
Never again. She's like, Doug, take the trash out. Take it out. Take it out again.
Wow.
I know. It's remarkable, right? And people buy into this just absolute garbage. She is an empty shell.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. She's a vapid, empty shell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In Michigan, I think, I can't keep track of like where all of her rallies were, but Michelle Obama was with her on the campaign trail. And Michelle Obama also just lying, straight up lying. Mm-hmm. I could not believe the part where she was talking about how Trump is afraid of doing interviews. How do they say that with any? How do they seriously say that? Like, it just makes no sense to me that they would say something so easily disprovable.
It's a talking point. They've all gotten their talking points. That's one of them. The Hitler thing is one of them. The fascism thing is one of them. I mean, it's like he's fearful. He was shot. It's like, you know what I mean? I cannot with these people. Like everything that they accuse us of doing, they do. Mm-hmm. Everything. We're on to, we know what they're doing. It's like, it's their playbook. It's ridiculous at this point.
So here's Michelle talking about how Trump is ducking interviews.
Okay. She's putting herself out there fearlessly, facing down even her harshest critics. She's seeking out Republicans to find common ground. And unlike her opponent, she's not ducking interviews or cowering in safe spaces only with fawning audiences. No, she's showing us what a sane, stable leader looks like.
I mean, so she's making it sound like we're harder on Kamala than we are on Trump.
Right.
Poor Kamala. Yeah. And as a side note, I wish I was as oppressed as Michelle Obama is.
Yeah, her life is so hard.
It really does suck, doesn't it? Yeah. Remember like at the DNC where she was like, my parents taught me how to be suspicious of folks that take more than they should. Remember that?
Right.
You guys remember that? Because I don't forget that stuff. Yeah.
Well, she's also, she's angry. She's really, really angry. And she doesn't understand why this is a close race.
So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon. I got to ask myself, well, why on earth is this race even close?
I also wonder that.
I lay awake at night wondering what in the world is going on.
We do too.
And it's clear to me that the question isn't whether Kamala is ready for this moment, because by every measure, she has demonstrated that she's ready.
Bullshit.
The real question is, as a country, are we ready for this moment?
You ready?
We're ready to take it back from your husband.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We're ready. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. Because I've had enough. I've had enough of it. Because
How is this close?
Dumb people. It's close because of dumb people. And the people who are they want so badly for government to take care. They think that the government is their sugar daddy. There's so many women like that too. It's the women. Seriously, I blame the women. I feel like men and young people are waking up. I truly believe that Gen Z will eventually save us. I do. I look at my daughter and her friends and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Like they're normal. You know what I mean? That generation's a lot like Gen X. I truly believe that. But women in this country, women like our age and a little bit younger, some of them are just dumber than sticks, man.
Yeah. But I swear, like I'll get myself so hyped up and optimistic, feeling like he's got this in the bag. And then I'll go to like left side of Twitter where their side is just convinced. Like they are absolutely like, oh my God, Kamala has this so easily. She's got this locked up.
Right.
And I'm like, where are they getting this confidence? And it just makes me feel like, why is it so close? I just can't get over it.
I think it's closer. I think a lot of people think that it's going to be a landslide. I really think it's closer than you guys think. Because and a lot of, people that I follow on Instagram and whatnot, I don't know what their political affiliation is, but they've, like I saw one over the weekend I was telling Mock about, and she was just like, I went and voted today. What do y'all think? And it was legit half and half in the comments. And it's all women. It's women. Yeah. I just don't. And half the women on the left half, they were just like, I can't understand why anybody would want to vote for a rapist.
Oh my God! Still with this nonsense.
This is what they have been programmed to think this way, and I'm like, okay, what? This is they believe everything that the legacy media tells them, everything, and insane. Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah.
Let's take a break for some quick thank yous. Audrey Krause says, good morning, chicks. The MSG Trump rally was amazing. 3 of my sisters and I waited in line for 4 hours. The people around us were awesome. We got in and sat in the nosebleed section and loved every minute. What an experience. MAGA 2024. How cool.
That is so cool.
Oh my God,
that is awesome.
Tammy Foucault says, good morning. My morning coffee on the weekend just isn't the same without you magnificent jerks. Late Saturday morning, it occurred to me that since I'm relatively new here, there's an absolute treasure trove of older podcasts waiting for me. And so, hi, my name is Tammy, and I'm addicted to the chicks on the right. I binged all day Saturday, she says.
My gosh. Well, welcome.
Katie Gill. Oh, whoops, okay, there it is. Hello from Missouri. My son Ian had the TikTok where y'all gave him a MyPillow for Christmas. I broke my humeral head this weekend, sitting here on pain meds, getting cheered up by y'all. Love y'all and the chicks massive family. Oh my gosh, get well, Katie. I don't know what that is, but that sounds painful.
It does sound painful.
So get that fixed. Let's see. Darlene K says, hey, jerks, got my mom hooked on you too, and we both watch every day. Going to a Trump rally on Wednesday. So excited. Could you give my mom a shout out? Her name is Deborah. We love you guys.
Hi, Deborah. Hello.
What a fun mother and daughter activity. Watch
Totally.
the jerks on the right every morning. Becky Lawrence says, I'm already giving away Christmas presents. So she's ahead of you on that whole thing.
Come on.
Samantha Capehart says, I went to Philly yesterday morning for a Stand with Women conference with Tulsi, Riley Gaines, Sage Steele, and more. It was awesome. And I even met some COTR fans. I was third row and loving it. Oh my gosh, how fun. That is awesome. Brian Brumley says, yesterday we were at dinner and a lady at the next table ordered an Arnold Palmer. You know exactly what came into my head. Maybe Jake Tapper can have the pole vaulter on the Palmer Pecker panel.
Yes, totally needs to have him on the Palmer Pecker panel.
The Great Gatsby says, regarding Ted Lieu, he used $50,000 of campaign money to pay Stanford the year his son was accepted. I responded to each of his posts with receipts until he finally blocked me. What
Interesting.
That guy is.
God, that guy really is, isn't he?
And Jose, oh my gosh, it's very generous. Jose says, morning and aloha from Texas after a much needed respite on the Big Island where I saw a bunch of Trump signage. That's the extent of my exposure to politics while away, and I won't apologize for it. Happy to be back among you jerks, though. Missed y'all. Now take my money.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Very sweet.
You. All right, back to Kamala. She was in Michigan, as you know, and she and Gretchen decided to do a total staged photo op where they pretended to be regular folk who go to bars and drink beer.
Oh, okay.
And so it's hard to hear. I don't know what they're talking about exactly, but here's what it looked like when they sat around, knowing that they have all kinds of reporters and whatnot following them.
God, this is so cringe.
What are you having, Madam Vice President?
I am having what she's having.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And it's made right here in Kalamazoo, which many are calling Kamalazoo. Exactly. Yeah. Cheers. Okay, cheers. Cheers.
They should have called Elizabeth Warren.
So there was that.
God,
and
that's
then
so cringe.
They start chit-chatting, right? And like it gets all quiet, but they know the reporters are there. And so people are saying that one of the things that is being said here is that they need to improve their numbers among men. And then they're like,
yeah. Oh, we have microphones in here. It's listening to everything. Oh, I didn't realize that.
You didn't realize?
So, well,
You'll
now you
bleep
tell
my
us.
F words.
We just told all the family secrets. Shit.
Did she say shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did. I mean, it's so.
Yeah. I just, you guys. I don't listen. It's being at a bar is fine. Like, I mean, I'll go into a bar and have a beer, but I think they're trying so hard to act like this is what we do. Like we're just gal pals and we hang out. No, you're not. They probably don't even like each other.
Right.
You know, it's all scripted. Like we've said for weeks now, this is all, it's all theatrics. It's all scripted and it's cringe. And everybody
totally
knows it.
Cringe. And again, she's an empty suit because when you ask her something of substance, she really struggles like she did when she was asked about, listen, we get that you're doing this $25,000 down payment assistance for new first-time home buyers. What about current homeowners who are struggling? What do you say to them? And here's what she said.
Anyway, it's good to see you.
You've talked about new home buyers and $25,000 for them.
Yes.
What about people who are currently in their homes as neighborhoods gentrify and prices go up? What would you do for them?
So for current homeowners, they are still facing the challenges, whether it be what we need to do around an issue I've addressed over the last 4 years, dealing with fair appraisal values and making sure that the appraisal system is fair, especially for people living in minority and black-owned communities in terms of housing and high levels of home ownership. We've seen bias there, but also just bringing down the price of everyday living.
That was not answering the question.
Just bring down the price of everyday living. Just bring it down. Just go poof and it's going to come down.
And this is the thing. This is where Trump actually has answers to the question. He's like, energy. Yeah. Energy affects everything. That's what I'm going to do. And she has no answer. She's just like, I'm going to get there on day one. And then prices are just going to come. Then why haven't you done it?
Right. Right.
Oh my God. People, and they buy this load of garbage. They actually buy it.
She was also asked what she's hearing about her own internal polling. And here's what she said.
A sense of your internal polling at the campaign and how that is making or influencing your decisions on what to do over the next 9 days.
So to be very frank with you, my internal polling is my instinct. I let the campaign people deal with all that other stuff.
No, you let everybody else deal with every other thing.
Right. Just here's your script. Go.
Like, exactly. You have the puppet masters who are telling you what to do on any given day at any given minute. That's what's happening there. So, okay.
And then this answer, I don't even know what this is.
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once.
We can hold them. I mean, in her case, she can't keep it, but she can hold the reservation. She can't keep the reservation. Wow. Okay.
Some of this stuff is just so ridiculous. I don't even know when this particular clip is from. This could be, for all I know, this could be 4 years old, but I had to throw it in because I just was like, this just goes with everything else we're talking about with her. Behold.
God.
And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Oh my God, this is not a serious person. It's just not. This individual is running for president of the United States, you guys. What planet am I on? Oh my God. I love the American people because they can hold thoughts.
Many thoughts at once.
They can hold more than one thought at once.
But you guys take heart because she's got a backbone like a you-know-what.
I know who was standing next to me the last 4 years. Kamala Harris. Let me tell you something, folks.
Let me tell you something.
I picked her because she has a backbone like a ramrod. She doesn't bet. I'm serious. She has a backbone like a ramrod.
It is just a ramrod, you guys. It's a backbone, all right.
The brain part is lacking, but that backbone.
But the backbone, yeah. If she's got good bones, just not a lot of
soft matter
stuff going on in there. Not a lot of brain matter, nothing going on in there.
But she does have the votes of all the celebrities, right? Like the elites, she's got them in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So in Texas, it wasn't just Beyonce, and we'll get to Beyonce in just a second. It was also John Legend. It was that Mark Ruffalo guy.
Oh,
she
God.
was hanging with all of them. Look.
He's the Hulk guy.
We're not going back. We're not going back.
Doofuses. They're like, we're not going back. We're going back to our mansions. Woo! And how many of these people you think are doing this because they're on Diddy's list? How many?
Right?
Raise your hand.
It just seems very, very sus.
You think it's sus? I mean, come on. So many of these people are like, yes, I love Kamala. She's awesome. Go Kamala. And then they're like, they go back to their house, their mansion, and they cry. They cry into their pillows because they know.
So then there was the moment, and this was probably in Pennsylvania somewhere, but when she had Bruce Springsteen that time last week, backstage, I guess Doug Emhoff is a huge fan. And so even though she was with Obama, she had this moment where she was like, my husband was way more excited about you than Obama. And here it is.
And I was in with the president, and I put him on speaker, and I said, honey, guess who I'm with? And he said, Bruce Springsteen.
Right. He was not excited or to know that I might.
You know he's a Jersey boy, right? He literally, I'm with this one, and the first thing is, you and Bruce Springsteen.
It's okay. God bless his listen. Between Bruce, Michelle, Kamala, I'm always.
Poor guy getting no attention.
And
I hate these people.
I know.
I just really do. And Bruce Springsteen does look like Megan Rapinoe. He does. The older he gets, he looks exactly like her. I will say, though, he's like 78 years old.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's old. I mean, I'm not old. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, oh my God, old, but like 78. He doesn't look 78.
No, he doesn't. He looks pretty good.
He just looks like a sort of a midlife lesbian now, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, because he's always showing his boobs.
Right.
Like, nobody wants to see that.
His moves.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So ahead of the Beyonce thing, there was all kinds of chatter, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There was all kinds of chatter about Beyonce performing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they packed the stadium, because there were promises, as you'll hear from, I think this is MSNBC, that she was going to perform. And if you're a Beyonce fan, and granted, she has a lot of them, and you think you're going to get access to a free Beyonce show, you're probably going to try to go if you're close by. Here's what MSNBC said ahead of the event.
We have learned from 3 sources our team has that Beyonce will appear with Vice President Harris tomorrow in Houston, Texas. And the source says that Beyonce will perform during that appearance in Texas, obviously where she's from.
Okay, so you heard it. They said it.
Right.
And then Alex Stein, who I'm not a huge fan of, but who did make this video that cracked me up, because all the whole Beyonce clan was there. It was her mother. It was her sister, who was wearing, I don't even know what kind of weird ass suit.
Solange Knowles.
No, this was Kelly. The other.
Kelly Rowland?
Yeah, Kelly Rowland.
She's not her sister. She was in Destiny's Child with her. Yeah.
That's what I meant. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she looked like Beetlejuice. She looked like Beetlejuice in the suit.
Which is exactly what Alex Stein said. And I don't know what made her choose this outfit. But here's Alex Stein's summary of the night.
The Kamala Harris rally in Houston, Texas was absolutely insane. You saw Beyonce and Kelly Rowland walked out. Kelly looked like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And then after that, Kamala walks out, right? She gives him the hug, and everybody's so mad because they're like, what? Beyonce only spoke for 3 minutes? I thought we were going to get a free concert. Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, why is she hugging Kamala? I thought this was a concert. Oh, and then Kelly and Beyonce have a nice little moment, reminiscing. And then everybody realizes it was a bait and switch, and they walk their butts out. As soon as Kamala got on that dang stage, everybody was pissed off, rightfully so. They duped us. They duped the entire city of Houston, Texas. 30,000 pissed off people right before an election less than 2 weeks away. What is Kamala Harris thinking? It was a night to forget, I'll tell you that much. Kamala Harris should be ashamed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to a political rally for a concert, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, you're kind of an idiot.
You are a complete moron, and you kind of deserve what you get. But the fact that it also makes you wonder what they got on Beyonce. I'm wondering that too.
Well, yeah. You know that there's some stuff going on there.
Oh, there's some stuff.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there were reports that people were walking out like crazy. And there were also reports that they lied on purpose, getting everybody jazzed up that Beyonce was going to be performing, and then she didn't. And then they tried to say, well, we never said that she was going to be performing. And so this was absolutely amazing that there was all of this backpedaling. Oh, I mean, no, that was never the plan. She was only going to speak. We've got all the headlines that say Beyonce expected to perform. This is happening. Get ready for it. I mean, come on.
They did this at the convention too, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
They did the same exact thing at the convention, and people were like, oh my God, we're going to get a free concert. Wah, 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 wah. Nothing. So, okay, if they're capable of lying about this stuff, we know she's lied a million. I mean, her whole entire platform is a lie, okay? Her whole entire essence is a lie. But if she's capable of doing this to 30,000 people in a stadium, right? What is she capable of doing if she becomes president? Lies, all lies, all the time.
All lies. There was also, we need to talk about the psychopaths that actually attended that rally. And there was this moment that went viral from the Houston rally outside of it, where there was just a deranged woman who thought it was appropriate to scream in the face of a toddler. I don't know what possessed her to do this or why she thought the toddler was like this devout Trump supporter. I don't know what was going on, but thankfully there was a black woman who intervened and got in her face like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? So it was, if you haven't seen this video, you're about to, this went absolutely viral over the weekend, rightly so.
God. I mean, people are giving that lady props, but she's probably still going to vote for Kamala, which is really upsetting. You know she will. And that biatch is exercising your First Amendment right to get punched right in the face. Because I would have gone to jail. I don't know about you guys, but if that were my child and she came at my kid like that, she would have been leveled. Like, there's no way I would have stood for that. I'm surprised that dad, I mean, I know men aren't supposed to hit women. I get it. But okay, the mom could, because we would have thrown down. Gosh.
Speaking of Beyonce, going back to Beyonce really quick, her mom had to have the use of a teleprompter, which I gotta say, if you're showing up because you support one of these candidates, you kind of should just be able to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, just without notes about why you support somebody. Do you know what I mean?
A lot to expect, Mock. I don't know why you would expect
really
that.
isn't that much. So she had to have the teleprompter even do phonetically how to say Kamala's name. They couldn't just write Kamala like spelled like it is.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can see on the teleprompter that it's comma-la Harris, because she's too dumb to know how to say it without help. Some supporter she is, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, and that makes you wonder, like, what did they have on these people?
Exactly. And then you can hear her not doing well with the teleprompter. There was this moment where she just openly says, I can't read it, you guys. Here it is.
Oh my God.
Been empowering for me.
Really?
You know, the teleprompter, I'm having a hard time seeing it, guys. I'm just being real here. So it's been powerful to encourage young.
I swear, these people,
She's got a lot of stuff in her face, man.
I was just gonna say that, and I thought I don't want to say it because people are gonna think that I'm mean. So I'm glad that you said it first. Because why are they doing that?
Like everything points.
Like
there's like pointiness.
It's like a cartoon character where everything is. Yeah, it's very pointy.
Remember the scary character from Mr. Rogers, that puppet?
Yes,
that's who she looks like to me.
The king, or the lady, that weird lady that used to give me nightmares.
Total nightmares.
Yes,
that's what those cheeks look like.
It's not a good look, Tina. Not a good look.
Kamala has also developed a new church accent. So please add this to the list of her current repertoire of various accents. Here she was at a church yesterday.
May endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Oh my God, I can't.
The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
I cannot believe that lightning did not hit her in that moment. I was waiting for it. I was like, seriously? So you kick Christians out of your rally. You kick them out. And then like what? This is 4 or 5 days later. You're like, you know what? I probably should go. Her people probably were like, you know what? You made the Christians mad. We should probably get you in a church, and then you can make, since you were really good at that Jamaican accent, you've done all the different accents, do a pastor accent. Do that. That'll be great. Do it. And she tried. This woman, man.
I know. And it didn't go over well with everybody, because once again, she was faced with a protest, and it's like they turned on the Oscar music on her. Like they turned on music to just stop her from talking more.
As a nation, we face real challenges. We carry.
The pianist is like, we've had enough, lady. We've had enough. Had enough of your crap. And you know what? So God's had enough.
Yeah.
God's
she had quite a weekend, man.
Yeah. He's had enough.
Now, speaking of church, JD Vance, man, he was on a freaking tear this weekend.
He took the media to church this weekend. Is what
it was amazing. And we'll get to some of his media beatdowns. But first, he spent some time in like a church town hall setting. And just to give you the compare and the contrast, you just saw Kamala try to pander with her pander pastor accent. Here's what JD Vance did to start out the town hall.
Well, Pastor, first of all, thank you for doing this. And I appreciate everybody for having me and for having an open mind to what I'm going to say. And hopefully I'll just answer your questions as well as I can. And, I'd ask, we are in a house of God. Please spare a prayer for me and my family tonight. We certainly need it, and we need the wisdom and the courage of God. So I appreciate being here, and I appreciate everybody being interested in what I have to say. Thank you.
God bless him.
Right?
God bless him. Yes. Just
That's
love
how
him.
you do a church setting.
That is how you do a church setting. Yeah. And not getting up there acting like a pastor. Because you're not.
Right. Everybody remembers you even had a clip of it of Hillary doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't always tired. I mean, what is it? What is with the Democrat women? Just stop. Like, we already know what you sound like in life. So why are you bothering?
They're panderers. And Kamala is the worst. I mean, Hillary was really bad, but Kamala is I never know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
She has had all these different accents. She has done she plays different roles. I swear the woman is she has 18 different personalities. You just don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So JD Vance did a slew of interviews with tough interviewers, people that clearly hate him. One of those being that I think this is Margaret Brennan. And I forget which channel she's on, but she was asking him if there's trouble in the campaign, the Trump-Vance campaign with women. Here's what he said.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney called you and Donald Trump misogynistic pigs. She urged voters to look at what you have said in the past. And she said of you personally, quote, "You've got a real women problem." Do you think your ticket has a women problem?
No, I don't think that we do, but we have to make our best case to women and to men as well as we can. And of course, women and men are going to decide where the chips ultimately fall. I think it's a more interesting reflection of Kamala Harris's campaign that at this late stage, she's not talking about how she can lower the price of groceries because she raised the price of groceries. She's not talking about how she can lower the price of housing because her policy saw a 40% increase in the cost of housing. She's going to Michigan with Liz Cheney, the person whose father is responsible for the deaths of millions of innocent Arabs and tens of thousands of innocent American troops, and saying effectively that if you elect me, I'm going to have the foreign policy of Dick and Liz Cheney. I don't think that message is going to fly in Michigan. I don't think it flies in Pennsylvania either.
Yep. Just listen, talk about a glow up from Pence.
Oh my God.
This guy is a glow up. I mean, he's just so good. He's great. The more they put him out there, the more interviews he does, the better he gets. He made no mistakes this weekend. There are no mistakes to be made. This guy is flawless. He nails the dismount on all of these interviews, and they come at him.
Do they ever? Oh my gosh. They tried. Kristen Welker tried. There was a couple. I'll just let these two run together without a break. But there's the first clip is about inflation, and the second is about who he has loyalty to, whether it's Trump or the Constitution. And again, these interviews get testy, and he does not back down. He's amazing.
No, inflation is coming down. Let me ask you about some of what we've heard here.
25% higher, Kristen, than it was when Donald Trump left the Oval Office. Do Americans? This is an important issue. If Americans feel like inflation is a solved problem, then maybe they should vote for Kamala Harris. If you feel like the price of groceries, if you feel like the price of housing is too high, if you feel like inflation is not over, then Donald Trump is your man.
Right. There's no doubt folks believe that groceries are too high. Just making the point that inflation has come down.
I agree with those
Let me ask you, if you find yourself in a similar position one day, will your loyalty be to the Constitution or to Donald J. Trump?
I just said my loyalty, Kristen, is to the Constitution of the United States.
Trump?
But have we talked at all about the unaffordable costs of groceries? Have we talked about the fact that I brought it up, but young Americans can't afford a home? You didn't bring that up. I brought that up. It's so interesting, Kristen, because I think that Kamala Harris's campaign, and unfortunately, too many of her media allies are more interested in what Donald Trump has said than what Donald Trump did in office. You're more interested in what Kamala Harris is accusing Donald Trump of than what Donald Trump actually did during his 4 years in office, which is deliver peace and prosperity.
He does it with the precision of a surgeon at this point. Yeah. And it's like he's tapped into the matrix and it's cracking and we're all watching it happen. I hate our media. And it's like, and he does too, you can tell, but he does it in such an HRE way. Like I always used to say that Mock was so good at this. Mock was so good at like having a nice face, you know, and being able to say mean things with a nice, I can't do it. I'm incapable because I have RBF, right? But she's got such a nice face and she can deliver really awful news. And that's why she was so good at HR. He does that. He's so lovely in these interviews. He remains lovely and nice, but he is just gutting these people. And it's like he's cracking the matrix and we're all watching it happen. And I hope that if they win, I mean, I know that if they win, they are just going to tear these people new buttholes. All like the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the ABCs and the CBSs, the legacy media, that's why they're scared to death, because they know that the Trump team, the Trump and Vance team, and all of us are onto them. And that matrix has been cracked and we're watching it. And it's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, the worst, like, because I was trying to see, well, what is the liberal reaction to his performance on these various news shows? And we'll get to we're saving the best for last. But a lot of people were just saying he's so mean.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
He's just so belligerent and mean and combative. And I'm like,
I see the opposite.
Right?
I see the exact opposite. He's very calm. It's like he has such a sense of self, you know? Like there's just no insecurity there. He's just like, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. I am unflappable. You will not break me. You're not going to do it.
And they don't. He broke Jake Tapper, though. He broke him in half.
So great. Oh my God.
It is amazing. So we've got a few different clips of the Jake Tapper part, and this gets really, really testy, you guys. So the first one is about FBI agents and the reliance on the mainstream media about the FBI investigation, which turned out to be a complete sham, and he calls them out on it.
A basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it. And so we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016. No. That was totally and preposterously false.
No,
well, that's
what you just said is
why.
False. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys,
they wouldn't.
You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that they wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win, and then we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story, or one guy
anonymously sourced,
or one guy who was a disgruntled employee, where five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
Right. You're not talking about, because Jake wants to talk about Palmer's pecker on a panel. He wants to. The matrix was cracking.
Oh, it was
cracking, and he was starting to cry. And I was like, please, God, let him cry. Please. God.
Just one tear. If we could
if
just
you
see
love
one
me, you'll let
tear.
him just cry a little bit, just a tiny bit, because it's cracking, you guys. Do you see it?
Well, there's more because Tapper did not want to let this story go, not just about the John Kelly thing, but also about all the people that were in Trump's administration that no longer support him. He really, really, really wants to talk about that. So there's a couple clips about that.
So all those 10 people, including the former vice president, Mike Pence, all of these people have this horribly damaged worldview, and they're all just going after Donald Trump because they want to send people into war? That's really your argument?
Absolutely.
It's not like these are conservative.
Absolutely, that's my
These
argument.
are not conservative
Jake,
Republicans.
people,
These aren't conservative Republicans who are concerned about Donald Trump. They're not. That's not right.
All of these people, Jake, they came into office thinking that they could control Donald Trump. That when he said he wanted peace in the world,
Pence thought he could control Donald Trump.
Yes, he did. And when he found out that he couldn't, they all turned on Donald Trump.
I'm talking about people who worked for Donald Trump in his first administration. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not just John Kelly, but Mark Milley, who was the Trump-appointed chairman of the Joint Chiefs of
Who
Staff.
disobeyed Trump's direct orders on troop redeployments in Syria.
And I'm talking about the guy that had your job.
A massive violation of his constitutional oath, by the way.
I'm talking about the guy that had your job before Donald Trump's supportive crowd wanted to hang him, Vice President Mike Pence, who said, as you know, that Trump put himself before the Constitution. I'm talking about General Mattis, also Secretary of Defense in Trump's administration. I'm talking about Mark Esper, the Secretary of Defense, who told me that Trump does have fascistic tendencies. John Bolton, H.R. McMaster, Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Okay, Jake,
These are Trump administration
to listen
officials.
to every Trump administration official? You know, one reason why Kamala Harris doesn't have as many people criticizing her is because she doesn't fire people who fail. That's why we haven't had a real audit of the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal, is because Kamala Harris protects failures in government. Donald Trump fires them. And I'd much rather have the president who fires people who screw up.
Amen.
Now, Jake, no, this is an important point.
Kamala
Harris.
You did not fire Mike Pence.
Kamala Harris.
He did not fire
the president.
Mark Milley.
Kamala Harris.
He did not fire John.
He fired a lot of those people, Jake, and he did because they weren't doing their job. But this is the thing, Jake. We've now spent 5 minutes talking about people in Donald Trump's staff
who think he's not fit for office.
He fired.
Who think he's not fit for office.
Oh, they didn't think he was unfit for office until they had a falling out with him because he fired them. And we're not talking about the public policy.
Well,
we're actually talk about how Americans can't afford groceries.
We're actually
Can we talk about the fact that Americans can't afford the cost of housing? Can we talk about the fact that a lot of people out there in Erie, Pennsylvania, they're the ones who suffer and die when people like Mark Esper and Mark Milley don't obey the commander-in-chief's orders.
We're talking about Donald Trump and what he says.
Yes.
And Donald Trump says.
And you'd much rather talk about what Donald Trump allegedly said than what Donald Trump did in office. What he did in office, Jake,
what he said publicly.
1.5% inflation.
The military to go after the enemy within, which is the American people.
He did not say that, Jake.
The enemy within.
He said that he was going to send the military after the American people. Show me the quote where he said that.
He said the enemy within.
He said far left lunatics. He's talking about people
Pelosi's
rioting
and Schiff.
He's talking about people rioting after the election. I think
the Pelosi's were rioting after the election.
He said
Adam Schiff was rioting after the election.
You're using two separate phrases. He said about using the military that far left lunatics, people who riot in the wake of an election, people who burn down American cities in the summer of 2020. Yes, we should have a federal law enforcement.
I
That was
mean,
amazing.
it was amazing. He was not having it, and I hope to see more of it. And I bet you he'll never be asked back again on that show. Because Jake looked like a little boy.
Yeah, he did.
And Vance is a man. There is a difference. And Vance was like, it's cat and mouse, you know?
Mhm.
And you are a dirty little mouse. Yep.
All right. So I know people probably expect to see a whole bunch of clips from the Madison Square Garden rally last night, and you're not going to see very many because it's impossible. We could literally just play you the entire rally and make this a 6-hour show because everything was so good. It was like the best rally of all time and space. So if you did not watch it, or if you were not as lucky as one of our local supporters to actually be there, please watch the whole thing. We'll show you a couple just tiny highlights. And then we'll also talk about some controversy that's brewing as a result of the rally. But just please watch it because it was so good. Every last bit of it is fantastic. So it's there were a lot of speakers, one of which was somewhat of a surprise to some folks on the left, and that was Tony Hinchcliffe of Kill Tony. He's a comedian. He's very roasty. So if you've never seen his show, that's kind of how he operates. Like, he's a guy who roasts, and everyone is subject, right? Like,
no holds barred. Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone gets it. And I don't know if this was like an attempt to appeal to young male voters. I can only assume that's what this was. But AOC and Tim Walz did this streaming, like, gaming thing that was either right before the rally. So they were like playing each other in some game that they streamed. And then they live streamed reaction to the rally. So when Tony Hinchcliffe made a joke about Puerto Rico, AOC lost her shit, you guys. Here's the joke and here's the reaction.
Going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. No.
Who is that jackwad? Who is that guy?
Actually, I think that's Tony Hinchcliffe, which is super disappointing. I mean, he's a comedian. I mean, it's like super upsetting. Obviously, it's super upsetting to me. My family is from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican, and I need people to understand that when you have some a-hole calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, know that that's what they think about you. That's just what they think about you. It's what they think about anyone who makes less money than them. It's what they think about the people who serve them food in a restaurant. It's what they think about the people who fold their clothes in a store. Like,
wait, is that
You're
what
right.
Puerto Rican
are
people
you
do?
serious?
The
Like, are
privilege
you
of being-
serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign is traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans in battleground states that need to send them a message.
Tony replied to the outrage, and there was a lot of it. And he said, these people have no sense of humor. Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and vacation there. I made fun of everyone. Watch the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon.
It's true. I totally agree with that. Like, people can't laugh at stuff anymore.
They can, though, if they're joking about people on the right and they're supporting the right side. Because, and we'll show this clip, George Lopez was at a rally for Tim Walz making fun of Mexicans stealing things. So that's fine. You're not hearing any outrage about that at all. But the whole Puerto Rican thing, everyone is losing
because
their
it
mind.
was at our side's rally, right? So you can't do that.
Yeah.
We're not, but I mean, in reality, we are the ones with the sense of humor. At least I think we have more of a sense of humor. I don't know. Sometimes on Instagram, I question that because I see people on our side, going, "Oh my God, you shouldn't use that word. You shouldn't do that." I'm just like, maybe you should shut up and get a sense of humor. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I think that we have a better sense of humor and just a better sense of self than the left does. They're just everything has to be politically correct. They change the rules. It's like, I can't keep track of all their stupid rules. It's ridiculous. They're offended by everything.
Yeah. Well, and then the absolute egregiousness of the media covering the rally. Unbelievable headlines, unbelievable chyrons everywhere on MSNBC, on CNN, comparing it to the 1939 Hitler rally and saying that it was essentially an homage to that rally, forgetting completely that Bill Clinton hosted a rally there, that the DNC has been held there 3 times in just the last, 20 something years. I mean, it was disgusting what they were saying about not just the rally attendees, but just the whole event as a whole, comparing it to a Hitler rally was so off base. And then it didn't matter that there were like tons of Jewish people there waving their Israeli flags and of course being welcomed with open arms. This was a Nazi rally. It's just, you can't even make this up.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You can't. It's the ultimate gaslighting. This is what they're doing now. It's like and listen, they've done this before in the past where they've called Bush a Nazi, they've called Mitt Romney a Nazi. I mean, this is their playbook, but not to this degree.
Yeah.
It's completely out of control at this point. And again, I worry about Trump because somebody else on the left is going to try to kill this guy because of this. And then people on the left would be like, what? We didn't do anything. You did this. Like, you're making it so people think that this guy is Hitler because you're saying it. Kamala and Joe and Obama and everybody, they're all saying it. So they're engaging in this rhetoric that is so, it's so incendiary that that is what causes lunatics to go out there and try to shoot the president.
Yeah. Well, and then you have to hear what AOC said once she disconnected from Tim Walz and was just streaming by herself. Because again, talk about gaslighting. This is about the most unbelievable example of it. Listen to her here.
Sorry, it got a little intense here, but it's because we're 8 days out from an election and I'm losing my mind and I've got the little smoke coming out the top of my head, but get it together. Get it together, cast your vote. So we can be done with this. I do not want to do 4 more years of resistance nonsense under Donald Trump. Okay. Like, good God. Like, do we remember what it was like waking up every day and there was some shit going on?
Yeah, we know why. We know why.
Do we remember? That's how this last 4 years has been.
Yeah,
every day we wake up with something else horrible happening, a new war starting. Oh my God,
it's true. You're absolutely 100% correct. But if you recall, during the time of Donald Trump's presidency, the reason that there was so much shit going on is because of the left. If the liberal media would have just left him alone or treated him like they treat their own politicians, it would have been fine. Everything would have been fine. I remember because we were on the air during that time, and every day it was, what can we attack him for? It was a daily occurrence. They would not leave that guy alone and just let him be the president. I do fear that if he wins, it's going to be more of that. However, I feel a little bit more confident about the fact because he has a great vice president who is like, we're onto your crap. That matrix is cracking. We're all in a different position, like emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, we all know better. It's different than it was, so many years ago. So it's going to be different this time, but she's out of her mind to think that he brought that on himself.
Oh my God. Or just to even call that period of time outside of COVID, of course, chaotic.
Exactly.
I mean, compared to how it's been for the last 4 years, I cannot believe she said that. Here's the George Lopez clip. It's very quick, but you can hear that he's literally calling Mexicans thieves.
Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
So that's fine. Nobody's having a hissy fit about it. It's totally fine.
Is he okay? Did you see him? Like, what is going on? He probably needs a shower or something.
Like, is he performing as Einstein in an upcoming movie? What's going on?
Very strange what's going on there.
So take it from a Puerto Rican other than AOC, who's obviously triggered by literally everything. Here's what most normal Puerto Ricans took from Tony Hinchcliffe's joke.
A few people tagged me in the videos of the comedian today at the Trump rally insulting Puerto Rico, or what they felt like was an insult. As a Puerto Rican American myself, my dad grew up in Puerto Rico. I was not insulted by this in the very least. Number one, this guy is a comedian. Number two, the clip that they don't show you from right before that is him joking with Latino Americans about a bunch of stuff in our culture. And if you know anything about a Latino American or a Hispanic American, we are our worst critics. We harass and make fun of each other. Or if you gave 2 shits about Puerto Rico or learned anything that's going on there, you would know that this guy's not talking about Puerto Rican people. He's talking about the island of Puerto Rico, which has a massive pollution problem. Tons of trash washes up on this beach every single day, and it looks like a landfill.
Oh, so there was a reason for the joke? Oh, how could we?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's always the people, right? It's always like, oh my God, I'm dissing the people. And everybody there should be offended. I'm going to be offended on their behalf. That's the liberal way.
That is the liberal way. Okay, I know. So I said, we already said, go watch the whole rally because there's way too many good things to show. Like, it would take all day to show you all of the good things. There were so many, but of course, one of the best was Tucker and his ridiculous laugh.
I saw the Grateful Dead in this arena in 1987. I was seated right there. How weird.
Gosh. How cool is that?
It's such an honor to be here, and it's wild. Just another day following Bobby Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden.
It's just the greatest. It's so great. God.
And then I am showing some clips of Elon because he's just freaking amazing. And like, we owe so much to him as a country.
I know, right? Right.
So just had to show his absolute exhilaration at being part of this event. So when he first came out, he does like a roar. I don't know any other way to describe it, but here was his reaction first coming out.
So excited. I freaking love it. I love that.
It was
so great.
hyped, man. The whole thing was so hyped.
God,
so
I
then
love
the guy that introduced him was the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. And so he asked him, as a member of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, how much of our deficit can you cut? Can you realistically cut from your work in DOGE? And here was Elon's response.
I've only got one question for you, and then I'm getting out of here because this is your stage. But we set up DOGE.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
Your money.
And give it back to the people.
Exactly. And he talked a lot about how the government has money, which is from us. That's the only way they have money. And here is what he plans to do about it.
It's being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
Hell yeah.
We're going to get the government off your back and out of your pocketbook. America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing. You guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like...
He's just loving it. It's so infectious.
Yeah. I mean, this is like kind of positive energy that America is all about. Yeah. USA.
You know what was in that room, you guys? Joy.
Right.
That's what was in that room. They don't own it. We own it.
That was so great. So great. Also great. And again, that's all we're going to show from the rally because there's just too much good stuff and it would take us all day. So make sure to watch it. In the meantime, you also need to see this amazing new Trump ad.
When I first came into office, I cut taxes more than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. God. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down. I'm gonna fight like a G, they all gon' see, and if I die, I'm gonna die free.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I
Fantastic.
mean,
Just fantastic.
all the chills, right?
So good. So how could you not vote for this? How?
Oh my gosh. Donald Jaquan Trump, you guys.
Hell yes.
Donald
It's just
Jaquan.
So good.
So good.
Mhm.
And then a potential ad, almost, it seems like Chris Cuomo accidentally created a potential ad for Trump where he was talking about his supporters. And this is kind of amazing.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job.
Yeah.
They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise.
Yeah.
They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place. If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
Wow. He is 100% correct. And
Right?
Trump is a lion. Yeah.
He's a
He is
savage.
he will cut people, and he was 100% correct. I hate to even say that, but he was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he accidentally made a good Trump ad in saying
Mhm.
that, right?
Yep. He's dead on with that.
And then I just saw this and thought, I think this may be from the Trump team's TikTok, but just hearing all of the ridiculousness from Michelle Obama and Kamala herself trying to say that Trump is exhausted or that he's shying away from, interviews or whatever. They created a day in the life, and this was just one day from his campaign, what it looks like, how busy he is from sun up to sundown. I was exhausted watching this, but this is what this 80-year-old candidate for president is doing every single day.
Starting our day off bright and early, it is 7:30 a.m. and we are leaving Trump Tower and heading to Fox Studios. President Trump was excited to join Fox & Friends live from the famous curvy couch. Never far behind are the men who keep our boss safe every day, and we are thankful for them. The day continues rolling as he joins Dan Bongino for a live stream, and he never leaves without signing a MAGA hat. Now on to our third interview of the morning with legendary WWE's Mark Calloway, also known as The Undertaker. We film a quick TikTok, depart the city, and 2 hours later, we are wheels down in Michigan. President Trump stops by to shake hands and thank the tireless Michigan campaign team.
Wow.
The motorcade heads to our next stop, where President Trump arrives to speak at a roundtable on building America's future. If you're lucky, he may even sign your shirt. Pulling into our final event of the day, and before he heads on stage, he always makes time to take photos with law enforcement. And now the fun begins. There is nothing like the energy of a Trump rally. President Trump delivers his promise to make America safe and prosperous again. It's not over until you see the iconic Trump dance. And just when you think he might be finished, he has his fourth interview of the day and calls into a tele-rally for Carrie Lake. It's 1 a.m. back in New York City, and that's a wrap.
I'm exhausted. Yeah.
I know.
I couldn't do that.
There's
You and I would
no
be like,
way.
there's no way. There's no way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could never.
And you know what? Kamala took a day off last week. A whole day off with no explanation. She's the vice president. May I remind you?
That's right.
Not only is she running for president, but she actually has a job that we're paying her to do. But she's like, I'm going to go and take a day off. Must be nice.
God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then, so you saw, we just shared that amazing Trump ad, gives you all the goosebumps. Compare and contrast, if you will, with the most disgusting ad. I don't even know if YouTube is going to allow this to show. Like, they may ding us for this because this is so vile. But this is what the Democrats think is a good ad to go against Trump. And just hide your kids.
Yeah, hide everybody.
Hide everybody.
Hide the dogs. Hide everybody.
Because
it's gross.
And
it's
you'll
so
know
vile.
it right away.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
Okay, so they're running on porn.
Real.
They're running on porn and abortion.
And legalizing weed. Don't forget.
Yeah, I mean, she gets up in front of a bunch of black dudes and she's like, you guys need legalized pot? Because that's what I think of you, black men. Yeah, this is what they're running on. And then she mocks Christians. She goes to a rally. She's at her rally and she kicks Christians. And then she mocks Catholics. I mean, look at all the stuff that they're absolute vile degenerates.
And then they're going to pretend to be offended at a Tony Hinchcliffe joke.
Right.
Give me a freaking break.
Yeah. Or anything. They pretend to be offended at anything. It's like, seriously, clutch your pearls harder. You guys are disgusting.
Yeah.
They are just.
I could not believe that was an actual thing.
Yeah. Desperate lunatics.
And then meanwhile, Gwen Walz was on with Katie Couric, who I did not even realize this was Katie Couric until I went back and watched it for the third time. And I was like, oh my God. That's Katie Couric. She still does things, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either. You know, I watched this and I didn't know it was Katie Couric either. What?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's Katie Couric. And so it's very, very short. But what you're going to hear Gwen doing is saying that in order for kids in school to get a proper education, you just might need tampons in boys' bathrooms. Make that make sense. Don't believe me. Take it straight from her face.
Kids are hungry in school. What that does to brain and learning, you're not going to learn to read. So if you're talking about learning to read and closing gaps, then you better take away the barriers for that. If that's tampons, then that's tampons.
Okay, so I didn't learn to read until I was using tampons, you guys. How about you? Seriously, what kind of nonsense is this?
She's psychotic.
So she's basically drawing a correlation between learning to read and using tampons.
Correct.
With boys.
Right.
With boys. That's what this. She is an idiot. These people are crazy, you guys. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And then talking about tampons being I know what tampons are a barrier for, and it's not reading. Hello. Oh my God.
This easily today, I swear to God, every weekend is like this now. It's like we could have had a 5-hour show.
Right.
Easily. I've saved so much stuff that we didn't get to. Oh my God.
That goes back to AOC's comment. That does, because she was like, oh my God, things were chaotic. No, they weren't, because we were on the radio back then. And I remember we actually had days where we were like, it's a slow news day. We can actually talk about midget porn today. You know,
Which is what we always want to talk about.
But we never get to talk about it with you guys. Come on. So like we would talk about all sorts of stuff culturally because we had time to do that. We don't now because the world is on fire because of these people. So she cannot say
every day.
Yeah, she cannot say that things are less chaotic now because we live it every day, lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like fires everywhere.
Everywhere.
Which is why we also need a couple of fun things before we get to your DD. And the first fun thing is that so Trump made a comment at some rally about Beyonce showing up to the Kamala rally. And somebody has turned it into song, which I always appreciate.
You do.
Check this out.
Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. 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 Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Yeah, so good. That's good. Alex said the picture of Beyonce strutting down the road. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know she wants to vote for Trump. You know she does. Deep down.
Someone has also created, and of course, I very much appreciate this, the Macarena.
Oh. Okay.
So there are new lyrics to the Macarena. Listen very carefully, because of course it's a very speedy song, but it's perfect.
Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can
Oh my God, I hated this song.
Kamala's never gonna beat
I
me in
hated
November.
it.
Hey, Macarena. Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Macarena.
I don't know. It was recorded in 1992. Do you guys remember? There's that. I never liked that song. It was like the safety dance to me.
Oh, that song.
Yeah,
oh my
right.
God.
It's kind of traumatic. Never a fan, but you know,
It's not great.
To each their own.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Reminder of how most of what the left accuses the right of is pure projection. And this is a fantastic example of liberals just being so racist, so blatantly racist, and thinking that they sound like they're super supportive. It's incredible that they lack this level of self-awareness, but they do. Check this out.
I think that's harder for Black people to go online.
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of Black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida,
Black people are convicted felons.
A huge population of the African Americans.
Oh yeah, because most African Americans are convicted felons. That's all. Most Black people are convicted felons, right? The Black people watching today, you guys are convicted felons, right?
We really need to rethink the whole women being able to vote thing.
Right.
I'm saying it.
Honestly,
it's gonna be women. If Kamala wins, it will be women that put her there.
How can liberals not see that? That those are your women. Those are your stupid ass women saying Black people don't know how to use computers. They don't know how to walk around.
They don't know how to go online.
They don't understand how to do anything because they're Black. But I love them. Can't you see? I mean, I'm benevolent, and those Republicans are racist.
Right?
What? Oh my God!
I can't.
I know you can't make it up. You can't.
You can't. Also, I should have done more research on this. I apologize that I didn't. I could not bring myself to care hard enough, but I do want to share this clip with you of some unfortunate singer being hired to sing the national anthem at some sort of debate that was live somewhere. So I don't know who she is. I don't know who's debating. I don't know what channel this is. I don't know any of the basics. I just know she screwed up the anthem and forgot or just didn't know that she was live, and this is what happened.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Can I go back, please?
Oh my God.
I got too nervous.
I won't make you listen anymore, but that is a thing that happened in the world.
That right there is a microcosm for the Democrat Party.
It's perfect.
That's it. I mean, that's it. That's your Democrat Party. That's it. God, I just cringe so much. Oh God.
I know.
I need to shower from the cringe.
I know. Yeah. It's like the kind of cringe that just gets on you and that sticks.
Oh God, it's sticking.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, it's time for your DD.
All right, this realtor, I've been seeing her all over my feed. I liked a couple things that she's done, and now she's in my algorithm all the time. And I love her. She's my spirit animal. If I were a realtor, I would be her. You guys have to know about her and watch her too. So here you go.
And refrigerator is the perfect place for you to store your hot dogs and Mountain Dew. There's plenty of room here for you to park your Cybertruck. This light-filled nook is the perfect place for you to journal about your fears. This deck is made out of a high-performance wood alternative material that'll last way longer than any of your relationships. This gorgeous primary suite is secluded enough from the rest of the house that no one will hear you each night as you sob yourself to sleep because you can't shake the feeling that you were really meant for more and that you've missed the opportunity to do something great with your one wild and precious life. And there's a balcony.
I would seriously buy houses from her.
That's a really good,
that's a good realtor.
Creative angle right there.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Right there. Yep.
Just a few talks, and then we've got some more thank yous to dole out. But this one is one that I sent to Daisy. I texted this to her on Friday, and I was like, "She is us."
Oh my God,
is us.
Best clip ever, you guys.
So good at just explaining like what we see in our algorithms every single day.
Every day.
Frustration about not knowing the best course of action to take about all the things that we women at our age face.
Yes.
It's perfection. It is perfection. If you are of our age group, you will totally understand and appreciate it. Behold.
Have you been struggling to lose belly fat? Guess what? You've ruined your metabolism by not eating enough. You're not getting enough protein, okay? You're going to need to take grams of protein and multiply it by the number of stars in the sky, and that's how much protein you're going to need in a day in order to lose weight. But you're also going to need to stay in a caloric deficit in order to lose weight, idiot.
It's true.
But you also have to live your life, okay? Memory is not macros. No more cardio, okay? You need to start lifting weights, heavy weights, at least 3 to 4 times a week. And you also need to get 10,000 steps a day, which sounds a lot like cardio, but we don't call it that anymore.
No,
okay, get with the times. So get your 10,000 steps every day, but don't exercise every day. You need to rest. Otherwise, your cortisol levels are going to be through the roof. Your muscle mass is deteriorating at the speed of light, and you're turning into a Teletubby, and everybody knows it because you're doing too many cardio HIIT classes, and your cortisol is high, and you need to be putting on muscle mass so you can hold at least 75% of your body weight for like a minute and a half or so if you want to be able to live into your 90s. It's not that stressful.
So true. It's so true.
Perimenopause is going to cause sleep interruptions. But you also need to make sure to get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Otherwise, your cortisol levels are going to kill you. Okay, it's science.
Right.
It's hormones and science. Comment science for my 6-week plan to get totally snatched. Follow for more tips.
Get snatched, you guys. Get totally snatched. I saw a guy the other day on Instagram, and he was like, he was all serious talking to another guy, and he was like, and listen, I mean, if you don't get at least like 9 hours of sleep, you're gonna basically get cancer. And I took the clip, I sent it to my husband. I'm like, I basically have cancer now. I'm so sick of these people. Like, who are you? It's like
all of it is mixed messages. All of it.
I hate everybody that puts out all those messages, all of the health people. I'm like, this is how I feel about you. Okay? Just stop it. Stop.
It's exhausting trying to keep up with it all.
Totally.
And like the cortisol thing, I'm like,
oh my God.
So do I work out or not? I don't know.
Just don't listen to any of them, you guys. Don't. Just don't listen.
Yeah. Also, this dog knows how to sing Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round.
I love it.
And I love him.
Okay.
Otis, the wheels on the bus go.
I need him.
I know. I
need him.
love Otis. Okay. And then lastly, before we get to thank yous, chickens. I don't normally end the show with a TikTok about chickens, but this particular chicken loves to be swaddled and purrs.
Chickens can be very sweet. They have personalities, especially barred rocks, the black and white ones. They're so
What's the
sweet.
ones that are super furry, like super silkies?
We had those. Silkies, yes.
Okay, I think that's what this one is.
They're also divas, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So precious. Watch.
I had to give Grits a bath.
Yeah.
But did you know that she loves to be swaddled? So, context, chickens purr when they're happy. So, watch this. You sit like the baby like this, put it up like this. Tuck this in like this. Tuck this other side in like this. And then I swoop it around. Whoa, sorry about that. And I swoop it around so she has something to lay her head on. Like this. Like this. Hello. Then she'll settle down into it.
Oh, and he's going to kneel down. Oh. They are very sweet. Silkies are very sweet.
She loves it so much.
It's so sweet. Warrior Flash says she is suffering.
I love her.
She could be.
Where'd you go?
It's a chicken. Somebody's asking what it is. It's a chicken. Yeah.
She's a happy girl.
That's so cute.
It
Oh
is.
my gosh.
It's really weird to have chickens in your house. You know?
Well, that's probably true.
It's a little weird, you guys.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
All right, some thank yous. Karen Marisco says, love you, chicky jerks. Interesting when Fox mentioned those who spoke at the rally this morning, Tucker was left out. That is being a jerk. Although they carried Tucker's entire speech, because that's where I was watching it, was Fox, and they carried the whole thing.
Good.
So I will give them props for that. Minnesota Solar Baby says, unpopular opinion, the reason the polls show it as a close race is because the left has started to fix the polls. The lie had to start early so the stolen Harris win would be easier to force upon Americans.
That better not happen.
Better not. Laura Kozlowski says, our son is a sophomore at Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. Trump having a rally this weekend 1 mile from campus. He has already signed up and is looking forward to attending. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Teresa Raimundo says she's got a backbone like a ramrod and she used it to stab me in the back. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Brian Brumley says maybe these little so-and-sos should Google Don Rickles, maybe?
Don Rickles, yeah.
Coffee and Camping says, what about the DNC holding their wait, what?
What about the DNC holding their conversations and conversations in Madison Square Garden? Holding their
conventions, maybe?
Conventions?
I did mention that they've had several there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Democrat speakers.
And then sorry, conventions.
Conventions.
And then Stephanie Mum says, I was never a fan of the Macarena song or dance, but Magarena I can totally get behind. Happy Monday, ladies.
Yeah, it's a better
now
version.
Take my money. Now take my money. Seth McMillan says tampons, aka beaver dams.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you very much, you guys. Look we finished right on time at the 2
Look
hour
at
mark.
us at the 2 hour mark.
Damn.
You thought it was gonna be super long. It was pretty long, but it wasn't like, oh my God, long. We've had longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, we're gonna bring it in. Oh God, it's Monday. It feels like a Monday. It feels like a Monday.
It is a Monday, man.
Yeah.
I just need for stuff to not continue to happen.
Yeah, you can't just
if stuff could just stop happening, that would be great.
And AOC jinxed it. So we're screwed now.
Yeah, we are.
We
We're
are.
totally
You guys have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.